on to something a little lighter. Well, not that light, but a little bit lighter, hopefully. Van life parents. Has anyone seen the uptick of van life parents on TikTok? It is an absolute... I don't even know, man. It's just... there's just so much of it. It's a growing pandemic. The pandemic, epidemic, whatever the word is. I'm not a scientist, unfortunately. I'm just a shitty business student. But yes, van life parents. I shout out to Funky Frogbait. I've seen a few of their videos. I happen to like a handful of them. So we're going to take a look at that, because why not?
Hi, this is my bunk bed. I love sleeping in it. I even have all my stuffed animals fitting in it.
Yes, that is how children talk. Mom's just standing behind the camera like, say the line. Say the line! With conviction!
You like your bedroom? Do you like sleeping in your
That's not a bedroom. That's a bunk bed. That is a bedroom, not a bunk bed. Okay, so for those of you who aren't aware of the van life parents pandemic, epidemic, the word again, on TikTok, is a number of people have been getting flack because their content revolves around them and their van life journey, whilst also being parents. So raising their kids in, you know, on a van that moves around a lot. So they homeschool usually, I'm presuming. But yeah, they've been getting a lot of flack recently because a number of these kids who have grown up like that have spoken out about how it was bad and they didn't like it, and it caused them lasting issues because guess what? If you raise your kid in an uncertain environment with unstable education and living conditions and very little to no privacy or autonomy away from their siblings, it doesn't really go so well. It doesn't usually work out. As far as I'm aware, that's usually not optimal conditions to raise a child. But what do I know? I'm a business student. But watch.
Your siblings?
I hate that she keeps calling it a room. It's not a room. A room has 4 walls. You can't just manifest a curtain into a 4th wall because you call it a room. And yep, Mom and Dad have a normal-sized bed,
which is a running
and a private
trend.
room all to themselves. I'm starting to notice a little pattern here.
Did you know that you can live in an RV full-time and bring your kids? Although there's a lot of RVs with bunk rooms, here's another option just in case you don't want to lose that extra space because of the second bedroom. This RV is packed with storage, and although that's really great for kids, this is the room that I want to talk about. Not only is this room huge and spacious, but it has a TV elevator, fireplace, and JBL speakers, giving you ultimate surround sound. It also has 2 couches that turn into queen-size beds.
So your kids are going to sleep in the living room. That's the solution. That's the solution. You want your kids to sleep on a pull-out sofa instead because it's got more room allowance for the rest of the van. I don't know. Again, I don't know much about child raising, but I'm pretty sure that's not the best conditions for a child psychologically, to have no permanent sense of one's own space or privacy. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I was pretty certain that that was the case. As someone who lived in a trailer, I can't imagine a van. Oh my god. Yeah, dude, honestly. And so many of these people have so many kids, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not judging you for having lots of children. But, like, come on. As someone who lived in a trailer, fuck that. I hate parents who do it because they want to. Yeah, that's fair. I can imagine most parents who want the best for their kids would want them to have a stable roof over their heads. These parents have, like, decided that their whole life is going to be going from place to place in a van. And whilst, like, go off, I think that's not going to be the best thing for your children. I think there was a famous story that happened, I don't remember when it happened in New Zealand, but there was a story in the news about it recently, about a young girl who was from overseas, whose parents decided that they were going to sail the world on a boat. And they did, and they eventually came here, and she and her sister stayed here when she was 13. Her sister was younger, and her parents went off on the boat again, wherever. But she wrote a book, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was about how her parents had ruined her life by giving her no stable education or stable living conditions, privacy, a place to call their own, and completely screwed them up, and they were nearly unable to get any form of education after that because they were never properly educated. Because of course it goes, oh yes, we'll homeschool them. And then obviously you're living on a boat or a van. Once, you know, timings, things like that. It doesn't go as well as you think it will. And don't get me wrong, the education is not the most important thing here. It's one of them. But even if you educate your children very well, this is not the main issue with this kind of living condition for a child.
Oh, so the kids get to sleep on the pull-out couch. That's freaking sick. Like sleeping over at your grandma's house, except every single day, and everything smells like feet.
And 2 recliners that are heated. Not only is this perfect for movie night, but for the kids' bedroom as well.
You can't just say that the living room is the kid's bedroom.
No.
Okay? If the dad can just waltz in his tidy whities and plop himself down on the couch, I'm sorry, comfortable child's bed, and yell at football all afternoon with a six-pack cradled between his thighs, the space is not for the kid.
Yeah. The thing is, you hear stories of parents, you know, they remove the bedroom door, they do whatever, and it's like, oh, you know, they did this thing, so we're moving their bedroom door, you know, you'll have privacy when you move out, you know, don't tell me to knock in my own house. And then those same parents several years later go, why won't my kid talk to me? Maybe it's because you took their privacy and autonomy as a person away from them, Sharon. Maybe it's important to raise your child with autonomy and privacy, Sharon. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the reason they don't talk to you, but I'm no expert.
The kid just happens to sleep there sometimes.
It also has a draw curtain, making it where the entire room closes off so the kids have privacy.
Again,
That's
with
not
the
privacy, bestie.
curtains. If I can hear my kid watching anime on his iPad and experimenting with his body for the first time from the front door.
Oof. But also, if prisoners have more privacy than your children, how are you raising them? Like, if a literal prison cell has more privacy for a person than your child has in their home, that's a problem. And that shouldn't be a hot take. That is a problem. That is a problem. That is not a good thing. That should not be the case.
There is no privacy going on.
In gorgeous living room, I understand this layout isn't for everyone.
And boom, massive
Yeah.
space for the parents.
If you want a private room and a big bed in your van and your house, and you don't afford the same to your kids, what are you doing? Like, clearly you know that human beings yourself want the privacy and space. You can't. So many of these parents will be like, oh, look at my kids' new bunk beds. It's a shelving unit. They're putting their children in, like, containers. There's no privacy there. What are you talking about? A curtain is not soundproof. There is nothing. There is no privacy there for that child. A trailer was originally made for people who can't afford a home, but become people with a lot of money traveling and raising kids in a trailer already brings issues with sleeping privacy and issues with inviting friends over and things like that. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I have no issue for people who live in trailers. Everyone has different life experiences. But please don't choose to put your kids through, you know, the uncertain lifestyle that you've decided to choose for yourself. Raising children comes with a lot of responsibility. You have to provide that stability and loving, caring place for them, which they will not get if you're very hooked on van life. It's not for children. It's not for children. That is not a good thing to do to your children.
Why am I not surprised? What sucks is this person is just touring a potential layout. There is no need for them to advertise this RV as a good choice for people with children. But they're being a little greedy, and they're trying to expand their consumer base by convincing the viewer that this is still a good option, even if you have to squeeze in a couple of your Valentine's Day science projects in there.
Hi, we're a family of 6, and we travel full-time in this 42-foot Fleetwood Discovery
Oh my
motorhome.
God.
You know, you'd think that your bed being 7.5 inches away from the pillow of your firstborn child would prevent you from creating more siblings for them, but all of these van life families just can't
They
stop
seem to be
popping out
massive.
kids.
So many of these families, it's like they just, like, again, and I'll never fault people for having children. Like, okay, like, I can't tell you not to have kids. That's not an opinion I can have. But there's literally not enough space in this van for these children. They just don't have enough space to live. You're not giving them enough space to provide a comfortable lifestyle. Forget the stability and other things. They are just cramped. With, like, so many of these videos I've seen, they literally just have kids on a pullout, and there's like 3 kids on one big double pullout. They can't even have their own bed. And if they do have their own beds, it's bunk beds in the wall. And I've seen them with, like, gaps like this big. They can't even sit up in their bed. This is not enough room. This is not enough room. There is no privacy even on the toilet. What makes you think there's privacy in the rest of the place?
months.
In 2020, we decided to sell our home and most of our things so that we could travel the country and reconnect as a family. In
That's
our
a
master
bad
bedroom,
idea.
we have
Too
a
much
stackable
connection.
washer and dryer and a king-size bed that has full storage underneath. Our bunkhouse has 2 beds where 2 of our kids sleep, and then we have a queen pull-out sofa bed where the other 2 sleep.
It's like these parents are actively trying to ensure that they are going to die alone in a nursing home one day. Did y'all see that big-ass king-sized bed in that big-ass master bedroom? Before we move on, I want to make something very clear. If a family, due to poverty, is forced to resort to a living situation where the children have very limited space and privacy, that is totally understandable.
Yes.
Speaking for myself, there was a time when my family didn't have much money, and me and my 3 siblings all slept in one room on mattresses on the floor. That's just what reality was at that time. But in most, if not all of the situations I've shown you, the parents
It's a choice.
are choosing to live this way.
Yeah, and again, like, if it is, this is struggle. People have struggles in life, and that's fine, but those parents often want what's best for their kids, and it's not something they've decided for funsies. Again, those RVs are so expensive. They're so expensive. People have sold their houses to pay for these RVs. And yes, maybe they've got some money left because it's not, it's not the full price of a house. But those luxury RVs are not what people who are struggling and going into trailer living out of necessity to provide for their kids are doing. This is dragging your children into a lifestyle that you've chosen that is not compatible with having kids. I'm all for people deciding to have whatever lifestyle they choose, and I'm all for people deciding that kids is what they want, each to their own. But you cannot have both. You cannot always have both. A life where you're constantly living in a van, driving around, instability, spontaneity, those things, your thing, I'm so happy for you. Van life can be super cool. Living in a tiny home could be super cool. Those things are not okay conditions to raise a child in. That will leave your children with lasting issues. And it's not okay. Oh.
In fact, often transitioning to this type of lifestyle requires a lot of money up front. So
Yes.
there's a good chance some of these families are better off than the average person.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to van life content, there is no better example than @Red, White, and Bethune on TikTok, or as they're known on YouTube, your hype couple. Yes, they call themselves your hype couple. Their big selling point is they've been living with their 3 children and 4 dogs. Yep, 3 children and 4 dogs in a 40-foot remodeled bus.
4 dogs. 3 kids and 4 dogs all together in a box. 3 kids is a lot. Dogs is 4 dogs. 4 of them. Please don't tell me that your dogs and your children share a room.
For 3 years.
One of the cool things we did in the bus is
Oh my god, look, they're shelves. Those are shelves. Those are shelving units for children.
kids have their own bunk, and we built this small rock wall for them to have access into the bunk. Instead of a ladder, we thought this would be a more awesome way to get in and out.
Yeah, we thought we'd make it more fun for the kids when they get in their coffin beds. Do you think these parents let their kids watch the Harry Potter movies? Would they get jealous watching the Sorcerer's Stone? If little 11-year-old Harry Potter is looking at your shelf bed setup like, damn, bro, you live like this, your parents might just be abusing you. Then J.K. Rowling's trans character, Woman with a Penis, walks in like,
Are you children experiencing gender dysphoria? Well, you better not be!
Molly's going to demonstrate getting in the bunk and show you just how easy it is. They use this piece here. It's made out of 3/4 inch plywood, plenty strong enough for them to climb and use, and voila.
Imagine going to the toilet at night. Like, imagine. Okay, this top bunk looks bigger. This looks bigger. These ones, imagine sleeping on the floor. Imagine being that kid. Like, what do you do? Okay, in Germany when I was younger, living there were laws. I don't know what it is now, but there were laws around letting your children sleep together in the same room past a certain age. There were, like, laws that you had to give your children privacy and things like that. Again, I'm not sure what it is now, but that was what I was certain of as a child, at least. And there was, like, a thing, like, all of our friends, like, because we all had bunk beds as kids, we all shared, had, like, this moment at, like, age 11 or whatever it was, where we all started moving out of our shared rooms, and it was, like, a big deal. because we were moving into a place with more privacy. It was a very big deal. Imagine, how many years are you planning on doing this for? What about when you have teenagers? Have you thought about that? When you start having them go, this looks like, I can't guess ages, this is like a 9 to 11-year-old. What happens when she gets older? What happens when the rest of your kids grow? This doesn't functionally look very big. What is your plan?
Getting into the bunk is super easy. Meanwhile, little Molly is just
Scrabbling.
clinging for dear life. Imagine going to sleep comes
my
with a whole
God.
workout routine. Oh, are you tired, honey? Well, you better go scale that rock wall. Sleep is something that has to be earned.
This is the day in the life of a 35-year-old bus life mom.
Ah,
my
see?
God.
Big ass bed. Also, once again, with the privacy thing. With a lot of the vans that we've seen, at least the master bedroom has
sad.
usually had a proper door. This family has been living on this bus for 3 years, and there is only a thin curtain between mom and dad's room and the children's docking area. There is
my God.
absolutely no way these kids have not heard their parents doing the horizontal tango night after
Horrifying.
night with high-res surround sound audio quality.
Oh,
You'll also see
God.
that the bathroom does not have a door, just a curtain.
The bathroom doesn't have a door. That's gotta be abuse. That's abuse, right? That is abuse. If nothing else, it's neglect. Oh my God. Their bathroom doesn't have a door. I know that's like one thing that I'm hung up on here. There's so many other horrific things, but oh my God. Yeah, imagine being in a storm, of being scared that your home gets flooded. Oh my God. What?
Curtain, so I guess anytime someone blows out the toilet, they're forced to evacuate
Oh
to
my
escape the
God.
fumes.
She likes to wake up, take her time on the couch, pet Eloise, then it's time to make the bed. There's no better way to start your day. And has a couple errands to run today, so she's gonna pick out an outfit to head out onto the
And we're back
road.
from the
She's
ad.
looking fresh.
Okay, I'm gonna try to be polite, but with that outfit, the pieces are coming together. This woman looks like she sucks scum off the top of a pond with a straw to get her daily vitamins. Now, after thousands of comments called out these
Yikes.
parents for making their children live in conditions worse than a maximum security prison,
Yeah, that's
they
insane.
finally upgraded the bus and gave
It looks like a coffin. It looks like a coffin. It looks like you're... I'm sorry, I'm claustrophobic, so that is my worst nightmare.
their children a
This is an
little bit
upgrade. This is an upgrade. This is what they call an upgrade. They don't have to worry about knocking their heads on about this much of space between them and their ceiling. What?
bit more space. So yeah, this new setup is significantly less claustrophobic than the last one, but
It's
those still
not
aren't rooms. Those are just slightly bigger shelves.
Again, this would be fine for a holiday. Like, sure, let your kid, your kids can share for a holiday, a week or two, whatever you're doing, an RV trip, whatever it is. These are not bedrooms. This is not what privacy looks like. Again, people in prison have more privacy than this. That's insane. That is insane.
A big aspect of this family's TikTok presence is not just about the van, but also their philosophy and way of life, especially how they raise their kids. And a lot of these videos are very upsetting.
Last night, Molly chose not to do her chores. And if our kids don't do their chores, they have consequences. Molly can't have any of her technology today, and she's got to get them done before going outside and playing.
With all of these wannabe influencer parents, we are gonna have a whole generation of children that are just gonna be severely psychologically f***ed up.
Yeah, this is how you traumatize your kids, man. First of all, forget the van life for a minute. Putting your children on the internet, I have several problems with. I swear to God. Mummy channels, mummy blogs, people putting their kids on the internet for shits and gigs to make content, disgusting. I will never be okay with that. I will always condemn that wholeheartedly. That is disgusting behavior. That is scummy behavior. And that is not okay. That is never going to be okay. Worse, showing your kid when you're disciplining them and explaining what they did wrong and what happens next and putting them on camera, that's abuse. That is abuse. That is abusive behavior. That is disgusting. Oh my god.
Imagine you're a little kid and you just got in trouble for not doing your chores, and as you're washing the dishes, your mom comes in like, "Hey, hundreds of thousands of people on TikTok.
God.
Little Molly forgot to do her chores last night, so she's in big trouble. Hey, keep scrubbing. Turn dramatically towards the window. We want good lighting, okay? Okay. Little Molly didn't do her chores last night." When I see parents publicly posting their discipline methods for their children, it fills me with absolute rage.
Stop it.
Because now the punishment is far more than the consequence that you assigned them. Now the punishment is you get to be humiliated in front of the eyes of thousands of strangers.
Stop it.
Which, especially for something as small as forgetting to wash the dishes, is incredibly cruel. Obviously, the couple got massive
This is your parents being your first bully. This is your parents being your first bully. This is disgusting behavior. This is not only how you end up in a nursing home, this is how your kid goes non-contact with you at 18. Fully understandably. That is foul behavior. No, that makes me really angry. I hate that so much.
backlash for this video, and this is what the father had to say.
Yes, our kids have consequences. Yes, if they don't do the chores, they're gonna have to pay. Just like if I don't pay my light bill, they come turn my damn power off.
What a piece of shit. I'm sorry, I'm getting mad now. I'll try and cool that off. That's awful. Oh my god, and you're defending it? Oh my god. Dude, reevaluate.
If you believe that children shouldn't have consequences and shouldn't have responsibilities, we're really freaking doomed as a society. Get your shit together, man.
Okay.
Love you, though.
So he immediately ignores people's actual concern that he is broadcasting the punishment of his child as entertainment for profit, and pretends that everyone is upset because they believe that children shouldn't have any consequences.
Yeah, I agree. How are these people allowed to have kids?
These parents aggressively defend their choice to homeschool.
Our kids don't go to school. We don't send our kids to school. We don't do traditional homeschooling. We want our kids to be leaders.
You don't do traditional homeschooling. What are they learning? Can they read and write? Are you raising illiterate children? This is abuse. This is neglect. This is textbook neglect. No, chat, this isn't a homeschool. They don't traditionally homeschool. They've just said that. These children aren't learning. These children aren't being educated. I hope they can read and write. But with homeschool, you're limited to what your parents know. They're not teaching them things. What?
We want them to think for themselves.
Now, once again, I recognize that I'm stepping into very sensitive territory, but as someone who was homeschooled from diapers to college, I feel like my opinion holds a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
My writing, reading, and history were massively accelerated, but my math, sciences, and social development were pretty stunted. And my experience was a highly structured, traditional way of homeschooling, so these parents are actively bragging that their children are not getting that.
Okay, other stuff as well. Their social development is going to be fucked if the only children they're seeing every single day in any kind of structured environment is their siblings, which they're actively pitted against by having no privacy, having no autonomy in being able to own things or share things or anything like that. What?
There are a lot of warning signs that I'm seeing based on my experience.
Yeah.
The kids don't have properly sized desks, but their mom has this giant desk that apparently she uses to edit YouTube videos for 6 hours a day. Also, the parents seem pretty preoccupied with their TikTok and YouTube presence, which is kind of concerning considering that they're willing to
it's illegal in some countries, right? Just to not educate your kid.
A few hundred likes on TikTok.
I think it's illegal here.
They're preparing their kids to be leaders, but they haven't had an established social group for 3 years. And anytime they do make social ties,
dude, these kids are gonna be
kids
screwed.
blowing into town on the weird hippie bus. It's kind of hard to cultivate leadership skills that way. But the parents' response to criticism is always very immature. They even faked quitting their van life because they got a bunch of backlash.
I'm back, bitches, and you're not gonna get rid of me again. Don't like my videos, that's fine. Just keep commenting and pushing them up in engagement. Thanks again, guys, for the support. And to the trolls, keep on talking shit, and I'm gonna keep on posting. See you guys on your For You page.
Ooh,
Oh, that's so cringe. That's so cringe. I thought this was gonna be a little bit more. Oh my god, I thought this was gonna be more cringe and less disturbing, but I am disturbed. I am genuinely disturbed by the attitudes of these people. How can you have children? Oh my lord.
whether or not they should call CPS.
They
Kids
should
don't
call
just
CPS.
Stay conveniently shelf-sized accessories to your life forever. One day they're going to be adults.
Yeah.
And they just might be a little bit upset that you put them back in a lot of basic life skills.
Yeah.
Do I think these kids are going to have a plethora of experiences that most kids can only dream of?
Yes.
Absolutely. But do I also
It does
think that they're going to have
cost-benefit
severe
analysis.
gaps in their development and education and probably grow up with chronic back pain?
The thing is, you can give your children these experiences, but it cannot be your lifestyle whilst raising people. These are not children. They're not kids. They're not, haha, little accessories. This is a human being that will be a 15-year-old. It will be an 18-year-old. It will be a 20-year-old. It'll be a 30-year-old. Hopefully, it'll reach its 40s, 50s, 60s, all the way up. Hopefully, it will live a long life. But that little person has to grow up to be a productive member of society. And you aren't letting them do that.
Yeah, the problem I see with these van life families is pretty much the same across the board. Mom and dad want to break away from the monotony of life and start a new chapter of adventure. But they don't make enough room, both literally and emotionally, for their kids to share that adventure with them.
Yeah.
They just drag them along like luggage. The kids don't have any say in this dramatic, life-altering choice. They just get stuffed in their shelf beds and driven away from any friends or familiarity they've ever known. And at a certain point, there are just some families with too many children to ethically live in a van for more than a week's vacation. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. You made these little human beings, you gotta take care of them.
Yeah.
Too often, people view children as if they're not a fully conscious and unique person until they're like 18 or older, and they don't consider the fact that their child has the same needs for space and privacy as they do.
Yes.
It just boils down to selfishness
Yes.
at the end of the day. All right, well, that was pretty much all I wanted to talk about. I think I'm gonna...
I am so sorry that took such a horrible turn. I genuinely thought that would be a lot more lighthearted than it was, but I've learned something new today, and I've learned that I fucking hate it. I'm not a parent. Take my opinion with a grain of salt. Disclaimers as always. Take my opinion with a grain of salt. Take her opinion with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, have your own opinions, but dang. That one really sucked. That one really sucked. God damn. Don't do this. Please. Don't do that. Okay. Goodbye.